I'd been quite positive in my previous videos, and I think that reflected not just the fact that we were doing okay, but also that all of our neighbors were doing okay too, owing to large amounts of preparation on their parts. And we'd also been helping our neighbors too with a lot of their work. And it all been fine, but I have to start on a negative, more depressing note today because despite all the efforts of a couple of our neighbors, things have not gone well for them. So we did a lot of work helping these folks keep water out of their house, and unfortunately, despite success for quite a long period of time, their house has now flooded again badly. The other really unfortunate outcome was another of our neighbors here, which had done an incredible amount of work building a massive sandbag wall with 6 industrial pumps keeping water away from the house. Everything was running beautifully, and then the wall collapsed at the back there, completely inundating the house, and now they're gone alongside the neighbors that we had been helping. So it's very sad because I know the amount of work that went into the effort to try and keep these houses dry, and despite all that work for about a week, they're now completely flooded again as they were 2 years ago. Based on all the bad news from our neighbors, as well as some dire predictions that it was going to get even worse, we did a bunch more work on our preparations. One of the things we did was to make the support for our heightened sandbag wall better, to try and avoid the collapses experienced by our neighbors. Now, we didn't have enough sandbags to do these huge multi-layered sandbag protection, but we did have the sandbag pallets. So we reinforce along the bottom of the wall, then lay the sandbag pallets up against the top layer of the wall, and then pounded posts into the bottom layers of the pallets, thereby giving support should the weight of the water get too high. The tires on top were just for additional weight, but they're unnecessary and perhaps unhelpful. I worried a bit that in the middle of the night, our sandbag wall, with the predictions that it was going to get a lot higher, the water, was that our garage was going to start flooding. It was going to go around our sandbag wall and into our garage. And so I also set up a sump pump here that would get triggered should that be the case. And I built a frame of sorts that can provide support should the water get so high as to press against the wall. The main point that I actually wanted to convey in this video was that I think our preparation is indeed good, but it's also to point out that just because you have good preparation doesn't mean that you'll be okay in a flood. Because I know our neighbors had good preparation also, and yet their houses are now flooded. The reason why we're still here isn't because our preparations were necessarily that much better, but also because we're higher than them. So in addition to preparation being helpful, just the simple fact that our house is higher is probably just as important, or more so. And the other reason, of course, is that we now have a sump pump checker.
Yay.
Cedar is our official sump pump checker. Right, Weedy?
Yeah.
On her birthday, no less.
Yeah.
This is the Cedar sump pump checking birthday edition.
Yeah.
How are the pumps, Weed?
Good.
They're all good? When's your next run to check them?
Well, I just did one, so like 10 minutes.
You'll always be able to say that you were the sump pump checker on your birthday. Bye.
Bye.
After so long journeying and camping and days spent in the lonely wild, the evening meal seemed a feast to the hobbits. to drink pale yellow wine, cool and fragrant, and eat bread and cheese and salted meats and dried fruits and good red cheese, with clean hands and clean-cut knives and plates. Neither Frodo nor Sam refused anything that was offered, nor a second, nor even a third helping. The wine coursed through their veins and tired limbs, and they felt glad and easy of heart as they had not done since they left the land of Lorien.